Hi, welcome to the table at Dice Cup Board Game Cafe in Nottingham. I'm Steve Raine.
I'm Jonathan Hicks.
And I'm Mark Windle.
And in this sequence of videos, we are talking through my top 30 games of all time. Jonathan's already done his, and in this particular video, I'm doing my games from 30 to 21. I was sent, the way I did it, I was sent kind of a link to a website called PubMeeple or meeplepub.com or something like that. We'll post the link in the description below. And what it did, it allowed me to input lots and lots of games, and then it just kept flashing 2 games on, and I just picked which of those 2 I liked the best. After lots and lots of comparisons, it took me quite a while, about 250 comparisons, it filtered down my list of top 30 games. So basically, I know that this particular game I'd rated higher than most ones below it, and lower than all the ones above it. So that's how my list was done. I'm not sure if Mark did a...
I did just the same, and then I looked at it and moved a couple of rounds slightly again. That's wrong.
I did a bit of a fiddle as well and stuff, so the cut-off point at 30 kind of had a bit of a, do I really want this game in and that game in? But on to my top 30.
Number 30.
My number 30 is one of a series of 2-player abstract strategy games. I am actually quite a fan of the 2-player abstract strategy, and it is from the GIF series. It is YINSH. And YINSH is effectively Othello, but better, in my opinion. The games themselves, all 6 games in the series, are just brilliant abstract strategy games. I'm quite a fan of them, and YINSH is my personal favourite. In YINSH, effectively, you've got some discs, and whenever you move those discs over some of the tokens you put on the board, all the tokens will flip the other way around. When you put a token of your colour down, it will be black, but if anyone, even yourself, goes over it again, it will flip to white, and then to black, and then to white. And your aim is to try and get 5 in a row, up to 3 times. The nice part of the game is that once you get 5 in a row, you take those off the board, so you've got fewer of your colour pieces on. You also take one of your 5 rings off the board, which means you've just got less variability. I think you've both played it, haven't you?
I've played YINSH a while ago. I think it is probably also my preferred one of the...
I prefer Tsar and Devon actually to YINSH, but they're all quite similar in the sense that they're 2-player abstract games. I mean, you like your 2-player abstract games anyway.
I do, yeah, generally. I think in all of them, skill will prevail. There's no element of luck, and that's that makes a 2-player strategy game. And I just think it's not solvable. I can't come up against anyone who's played it enough that they're gonna, I'm not gonna have a chance against them. I feel I have a chance against anyone, even some of the really good 2-player strategy game players we've got. So that's why it's my favourite. Also, I think the pieces are the nicest.
The components are great.
I
do like them.
I think a lot of them are show games, though, aren't they, really? I think there's a certain amount, it's like the person who has the chess set, you could be the person who has the GIF on your table.
Number 29.
My next game is a tableau building game with a pseudo bit of area control. It's on this kind of weird sort of like circular hexagonal modular island, and it's called Deus. And in Deus, you effectively get 5 cards. You can have up to 10 in your hand at any point, and you effectively play one of your cards to the tableau, or you discard your cards to the gods. And depending which one you do various things. If you build it to the tableau, you get to build, you need the resources to do so sometimes you won't have that, and you get to build one particular type of that building on the board. And then every card in the column, so basically if I'm playing a yellow building, I'll play my yellow card, and every card in that column then gets me a bonus depending on which card I've played. So the first time I build a yellow building, I get a bit of a bonus. Next time I play a yellow building, I'll get the new one, and the one I've played before. And so you can kind of set yourself up for some awesome turns later on. And part of the skill of that is kind of trying to work out when the game's going to end. Getting your things going before you kind of run out of turns.
The timing that is really important, and that is the best thing about Deus. I think that mechanism where you're building up the different stacks of cards. The map looks hideous, I think.
Possibly, and one other thing, I think the resources as well are wrongly coloured. Is it the wood is brown on the cards but green on the tokens? So that's really good. But I just like the mechanics of it. Again, you'll find out through a lot of my lists, theme takes a second place to mechanics, so the mechanics of this game are very good. If you don't want to build a building, you basically take a card, you pray to the gods, you throw that card away. It might be a yellow card, so you pray to the yellow god, but you can throw other cards away as well to get a better action. Then you draw some more cards. So you can kind of cycle through your... people say, but you sometimes don't draw what you want, it's fine. Discard 5 cards, get 5 good things, and draw 5 more.
I like the spatial aspect of it, moving around the board. I think that does work really well. It's just a shame the graphic design stroke artwork, it seems to clash so much, and they've got these weird shaped pieces, the way they fit together.
This circle,
none of that appeals.
It's not
to me.
hex
Circles
or
in a
light,
heptagon or hexagon or something, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a lovely little game, and it's not, I mean, like little as in, it's very, I don't know how to explain it, it's very compact in the way the fact the whole game plays, it'll take a lot of space, and it feels, it's not a game that does feel quite rounded, it's obviously, it's a game you wouldn't, I don't know, in fact they did do an expansion for it, didn't they? But it didn't need it because it felt so complete as it's not something I think of as a game I'd go, I really want to play it, but every time I've played it, I'm always really enjoy it at the point I finished it.
Yeah. If anyone suggested it, I'd be like, I'd happily play Deus.
I haven't played it in a while actually, I forgot how good it was. So I was making my list, oh yeah, I'd like to have another game of that now.
Alright.
Number 28.
My next game is a game that if you didn't like the graphic design in Deus, you're probably not going to like the graphic design in this one. It is a game set in the late 1800s about effectively trading art, and that's Brussels, let's see if we can get the number right, 1893. Brussels is just, if you look at it, you think, oh, it looks a bit garish, it looks a bit bland, whatever, depending on the colour combinations.
It does manage to look garish and bland at the same time, which is quite an achievement.
So, in terms of looks, and again, a lot of my games, a lot of them mechanically, this is just mechanically very strong.
Yeah.
Every bit of the game is tight, not too tight, but tight. So money's key, positioning's key. You've got a bit of area control. You can bump people off by paying more than them. If you put too many workers there, you lose the workers. And there are just lots of different paths to victory. I've played it a couple of times quite recently, and it's just reminded me how good a game it is. I've played 2 times recently where 2 of the new players of the game, each of the 2 new players, won that game. I'm like, that shouldn't happen, but it's because I was trying something I'd never tried before, and the fact that I can still do that in a game I've played quite a lot is a testament to how many different options there are in it.
It's so dry. Oh my goodness. If you asked me to play this, I'd be like, okay. But actually, I think when I'm playing it, I think I would enjoy it because it is, as you say, mechanically
fun within it, isn't it? And the way that you have your section of the ball, I can't remember, but the more visual sort of section of the ball to the right hand side. I can't remember what we're doing on it, and then you've got
you cut off certain sections.
Yeah. I quite like the bit about that. You just don't see it in many games. Is the pricing the art. So when you sell some art, you can move the price marker. The number of spaces as pieces of art you have, and that price mark will change the number of VPs and coins you get for selling your piece of art, which is brilliant because you can collect lots of art and you can sell it for lots of. You can always move it to somewhere it's going to get you lots of money, but you can't sell art that's just been sold. So the 2 colours the most recently been sold, you can't do that. And it's like, so you can't just go down that route and maximise it. But yeah, I do like it. It's just, I think it's just a mechanically very strong game, and that's kind of what appeals to me about games.
I can imagine we're going to see a few of those on this list.
I think I'll surprise you, to be honest.
Okay.
Number 27.
So my next game is a game that I think gets better when you play with people who aren't very good at it. It is a game, which sounds weird.
You like winning?
Sorry?
You like winning?
No, it's a game where I once sat to the left of your son and had a hilarious time because I couldn't. I couldn't read any of the pictures he draws, and this is Telestrations. And in Telestrations, if you have that one person who can't look at a picture and say what it is, or can't draw, you just have so much more fun. It's a game where you shouldn't score it, you should just read it round, and at the very end, if you get your little picture and you go, this is what I started with, and I went to this, and then what happened there? And you go through, it's effectively like Chinese whispers with pictures, and it's just hilarious. And in terms of me, maybe not, it's not in my category of games, it's not a heavy Euro, it's not thematic, it's not mechanically very deep or anything like that. I just have fun. And I think people just do have fun when they're playing that game. If you get the right sort of group of people to play that sort of game, you'll have a hilarious time.
Refrigerator with arms.
Yes.
It was a tree house.
Oh dear. Was that Noah, was it?
Yeah.
Oh,
I just remember. Because people were in tears at that point, and we're talking like there was 7 days or whatever, and we were all just amazing.
Yeah, it's having 1 or 2 people who can't draw just makes that game better.
Number 26.
My next game is a dice rolling game that's timed. You have 10 minutes. Do you know what it is?
Oh, Fuse?
It's Fuse, yeah. So in Fuse, I've played it quite a lot recently. I've recently bought it for the cafe, and in Fuse you're defusing bombs. You're collectively trying to defuse bombs. You have 2 in front of you and there's 4 in the middle, so when you finish defusing one of yours, you pick one of the other 4. And each turn, if it's a 4-player game, someone puts a hand in the bag, picks up 4 dice and rolls them. If you pick up too many, you have to put them all back and re-roll them, and you do that, and you've got 10 minutes to defuse all the bombs in play. On your turn, when I've rolled 4 dice, everyone of the 4 people in the game has to take one of the dice. So I might need a green dice to go on my bomb, I might need a 4, I might need specifically a blue 2, and if I can't get that particular dice, if I can't take a dice, other people are going to pay the cost of it. So it is a cooperative game. You need to work well with your team. It isn't just about picking them out, rolling fastest, pick one, done. You need to just say, I can take any of them, I can only take the black one, I can take the 4, and cooperatively work through them. I think everyone who's played it recently, as long as you kind of don't mind that fast pacedness of it, has a really good time playing it. In terms of, I'm thoroughly engaged throughout for 10 minutes. At the end of the 10 minutes I go, and
yeah, it's frantic, certainly. You feel tired at the end of it. But that cooperative bit in the middle, as you say, works so well. That is the really good bit about it. You're all having to work together to take these dice in a very limited time span.
Yeah.
So, and sometimes there's a question, do I just take the dice just to get it quick? Because sometimes people are erring, do get there, and then that's cost you time.
You can even say, if you're on it, you can even say before people put the hand out, you'll say, I need a 5. And so when they roll the dice, you know that 5's coming too, and that's just a sign of you kind of being prepared, and you're kind of giving information away, well before you need to.
I'm taking this away camping. I think we'd play it at a quick one. We ended up playing for like 2.5 hours. It's like, because everybody's like, well, do it again.
It's a game where certain people just say, oh, we did so badly, but I want to do better. Yeah. I know how to do better. Yes. And that happens with short games as well. Short games, you think, oh, it's so good, I can play that again and again and again.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't want to play it for more than half an hour.
Yeah.
It was in between adult beverages and stuff like that, so it was more of an evening, but it's fun.
Number 25.
My next game is another dry Euro game, and that is St. Petersburg. And when I say dry, it is pretty dry. I don't see how it's set in Russia anyway. But basically, it's you take it in turns to effectively buy or hire one of the people or buildings or resource generating guys each time, and then at the end of that round your things will produce. So you might hire a couple of resource guys, which at the end of the round will produce some money, which you use that money on the next round to get a building. At the end of that round the building produces you points, but if you buy a building that round you'll have no money to buy a person at the next round, which will get you VPs and money and so on. And so I find this game, and every time I play it, and I always start, money is tight. And I play the game, I think, money's tight. I could really do with buying that guy, and I'll buy him, and then I'll run out of money for the next 2 turns. It was so awkward, and I do this every time I play, I think. But it's such a well-crafted game in terms of there's a bit of cat and mouse. If you buy something that someone else needs, and if you don't buy enough things, not enough new things will come out as well. So you can kind of end the game or end the round early, and the things will drop down, become a bit cheaper, and you think, oh, if I wait they'll be a bit cheaper, but someone might buy it before me. And it's just lots of well-crafted decisions as you're playing, and mechanically, again, fairly sound.
It is very sound. Again, it's very dry, which is why it doesn't appeal to me very much. But having said that, I played it a couple of times, and if you ask me, do you want to play it? I'd be like, yeah, okay, I'll play it. And I know I would enjoy it. It is one of those where you get involved in the engine building and trying to craft your combinations of cards and things. It is engaging, certainly.
I remember playing with you, and one time when you mentioned that my first game you were playing, you said money's tight. I'm like, all right then. And both of us ran out of money straight away. It's like, I'll do that every time.
See, unlike Brussels, I really do like this one, because I feel that there's a progression more through the games than that. I feel like I get better, albeit tighter at times, as it's like a wave of, I'm doing quite well, oh no, I've spent it all. But I feel like it has a progression to like an ending in the game, and that ending's quite profound.
Yeah, you kind of save your money up thinking, I need to get this, and something comes out and you think, well, that's good, isn't it? Oh, I will buy that. And then the one thing you were saving your money for goes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do like that. I would happily give that again. Again, it's one of those games I haven't played in a while, but I do remember how much I liked it when I did play it.
Number 24.
So my next game is one of the oldest on my list. It's not the oldest, but it was around in the 80s, and it is Cluedo with skills. There's no dice rolling, roll, move, and that is Sleuth. And in Sleuth is a very, again, it divides opinion. It is very dry. It's effectively how well can you note take. There's a missing gem in this case, a bit like in Cluedo where there's a murderer suspect in the room. There's just one missing gem, and your aim is to find that one missing gem. And at the start of the game you get a list of pile of cards of which gems it isn't. So it isn't the green double opal, it isn't the single red diamond. And on your turn you can ask one of the other players in the game one question. Okay, and then it'll pass your turn. But everyone else gets some information from the question you ask. But the problem is you only get a set of 4 questions you can ask. So I can ask about red pair diamonds. So I'm like, Mark, how many red pair diamonds? And he, if I ask him about 2 things, red and pairs, he will actually specifically show me the cards that match the question I'm asking. Everyone else will know how many cards he's passed me, but I will get to see those cards. If I just want to say, Mark, how many red cards have you got? That might be a different question to ask. Mark might say 5. I don't get to see them because I've only asked him about one thing, which is red cards, Mark. But everyone else, again, gets that information. So it's not necessarily about being lucky to get the right information from all your questions. It's about picking up the information from other people's questions. And how well you note take dictates how well you will do in this game. I've played it lots and lots of times. I think I've finally got a system that works. But getting that system was what made that game great for me.
It's Sid Sackson, isn't it?
Yeah.
He does design good games, but I don't really enjoy them. I think mechanically it's very sound, but it's a real brain burner. Like the whole way through the game, you're like, oh, okay, they've said this, which means this, and I've got to keep track of this, and I've got to ask a question now. Oh my goodness, what am I going to ask? What do I need to know? Which cards am I going to use? But by the end of it, after this, you slog through the whole game. You're thoroughly exhausted by the end. It's like, what have I achieved? I asked a bunch of questions about diamonds. Was it worth it? So it's just, the theme does nothing for me, and it is clever. I mean, don't get me wrong, I can see some people really enjoying it. I totally see why you like it, but it's not for me.
Yeah, I've enjoyed when I played it, but it's one of the few games I'd won by not doing anything, but letting everybody else fail. So,
yeah, you did, yeah.
Which is bizarre. No, it's fine. It has its time and place. More so than something I want to play at any point, if you know what I mean. But I like it. I just don't.
You can't switch off.
Yeah.
You can't switch off in this game at all. There's 2 reasons. 1, you'll miss clues that would help you solve it earlier, and 2, if you give misinformation, you can ruin the game. And that's why Alchemists, in terms of the deduction part of Alchemists, does it much better. It uses an app, which means the app will make sure you can't get any misinformation. So to that extent, this sort of game, if this game was done today, they would have to put some theme on it.
Yes.
Just to sell it to people like you, and they'd have to do it in such a way you couldn't break it by giving wrong information.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if they would incorporate an app or something. But
they probably would. I mean, Alchemist, I think, is the closest I've seen to doing it. Yeah. And they had the worker placement aspect behind it. But yeah, I just like. I mean, from my background in terms of playing competitively,
it's pure logical deduction, isn't it? The whole way through the game.
And that's what I like. So, yeah.
Number 23.
So my number 23 is a game I've only played once. I played it with Mark, Rob and Sarah at the UK Board Games Expo, and that is Crokinole. That is effectively curling on a board, and I loved it so much. I want to buy this game, I do. I know it's a lot of money for something that could get damaged very easily, given I would probably have to put it in the cafe and such. But it was just fun. It was just flicking discs onto a board. And in terms of, it doesn't feel like it should come in the board game category to some extent.
It doesn't sound that fun, does it?
No, it doesn't.
But it really is. I loved it.
Yeah. And until you've played it, you take it in turns trying to get it into the middle, and if you get in the middle, you get 20 points or whatever. And then otherwise, at the end of the game, you get points based on where your discs are in the different rings. So you're trying to knock other people's off while keeping yours on. You either play in single people or you play in pairs. It is not a 4-player game; it's a 2-player game when you play in pairs. Yeah. And you think it's really easy. He's got one. He's right in the open. He's got one. I'm just going to flick it on, knock it off, and you just slide straight past him and fly off the board yourself. It's just so, unless you practice, it's so hard to get it right.
Yeah. It's quite strategic, I think. The better you get at it, the more strategic it becomes.
You pace it such a way so you leave yours next to a peg, which means it's harder for them to Keep you up the board. But yeah, I'd love to be able to get better at it. I just had such fun playing it that it's still rated very highly.
Well, we're going to Essen, and there's always tables standing around, so you can literally just walk up, play a few games, and then but later you walk past it again, having a few games. It's great. It's a great break.
That would require me to leave the table.
I know that's there's a lot of people.
Yeah, I'd love to give that a go. But yeah, and that's my number 23.
Number 22.
So my number 22 is the first of the games that have been out this year that's on my list so far, and that is an abstract tower building game called Santorini. And I do like my abstract strategy games, and generally I like them to be 2 players. However, in Santorini, the first time I played it was with 4 players, and I loved it. I've played it since with 2, but at the time I played it with 4, I thought I never want to play with 2. I played it with 2, but I think it actually shines better with 4.
Yeah,
I think the player powers can be unbalanced. So if you're playing a 2-player game where your power is better than theirs, or it's just more useful than theirs, you can perfect information. You can see I'm going to win 4 turns. Yep. And if I'm going to want to play that sort of game, I want to play a heavier game. I want to play YINSH, I want to play chess or something like that. But the 4-player aspect where you can't talk to your partner, you can't tell your partner what you're doing. Your partner's got different powers, so you might have to set your partner up so that they can use their power to a better advantage. You need to spend your turn stopping them where your partner tries to win, that sort of stuff. And not being able to talk to him was brilliant. We had a couple of games where you just went, why didn't you win last turn? I'm like, oh yeah, I could have done that. And I hadn't noticed. I was so busy focusing on something else. And I think it's great. Also, it just looks nice.
Yeah.
A lot of 2-player strategy games, 2-player abstract strategy, or even 4-player abstract games are tile laying games or piece laying games that are very bland. Black and white pieces on a checkered board or something like that.
Yep.
But they've done a very good job here.
It really stands out, doesn't it, on the table?
Do you remember that painted version that we had in on the
Oh yes, when Kris
we've actually done that looks amazing. It probably didn't take too long, but it looks fantastic.
Well, you've got to be as good as him.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen that, check out. It's one of our videos. Kris had done a painted version of Santorini. It just looked gorgeous.
Number 21.
And finally, my number 21, last of this video, is my first Stefan Feld game. Now, Stefan Feld, as you might have gathered, is one of my favourite designers. I've got nearly all of his games.
On the list?
Sorry?
On the list?
I will find out. It's my first so far. I might have more. But that is Castles of Burgundy. It's probably the first Stefan Feld game I played, and it's held its own. It's quite an old game, I think, now, but it's just so, again, mechanically very strong. It's a dice rolling game, but like a lot of his dice rolling games, you can mitigate the dice roll, and it's a game where rolling high or rolling low is irrelevant because they could equally just be colours rather than 1 to 6, and you're effectively using your numbers to acquire tiles, using those different numbers to place tiles. Those tiles will get you bonus actions or bonus points or doing things, and you're trying to fill as much of your board as you can. I might try and add some theme to it, but there's none there.
There's no theme.
And it's just, you've got effectively 25 turns in the game. Each time you have 2 dice, but you can use 1 dice to acquire a tile, 1 dice to place a tile, and you won't fill your board that way. It's all about using the bonus actions, ignoring certain aspects to work on others, trying to fill one specific section, because the more sections you fill, the more points you get. It's just mechanically very strong. Again, you can mitigate things. So you can use bonus actions to pick up tiles that you couldn't get access to because you didn't roll the right numbers, and you can use workers to change the numbers on your tiles. And if you can get buildings that give you workers, so you'd have to waste an action to get them, you can kind of just become more efficient than other people, and you kind of eke out that points. It is definitely a point salad game. You get points for doing everything, but doing lots of specific things and ignoring others is how you win.
It's his highest rated game on Board Game Geek, I think. And I don't think it's his best though, and I don't think you would think it's his best either.
Maybe it's my only one.
But I think the reason is because it's older, so many people have played it and rated it. But I think a lot of those people who've played it, if they played some of his more recent games that are probably going to be on Steve's list, I think you would prefer them. So if you like Castles of Burgundy, I think sort of hang on for a bit and see what else Steve recommends, because there are some really good games from Stefan Feld.
I think the BG Top 100 is more becoming like a long-term hotness these days than I don't think a name like Feld will push up that much at that high anymore. I just think that's the nature of just the way it is with the people who are coming into gaming.
Yeah, okay.
I agree. I think it's the best game. I think it's a very good game.
You just think there wasn't enough choice back
I
in
think
the day?
also different players. But I think the whole industry's changed. I think there's more people more people who want just specifically going just to play games as a hobby. People are
now there's a smaller percentage of Euro gamers, effectively.
I think it's a small percentage of just heavier gamers generally. I think there's more people who just come in and would go, "What's a game?" and they'd still use Board Game Geek. Well, previously it'd just be used by people like us.
I think social media has hyped other games up as well.
Yeah,
and a Steppenfeld game won't get the same hype that a Gloomhaven or a Pandemic Legacy game.
Which is a shame, I think, because his games are so good.
Yeah.
Mechanically great.
The theme is coming on, I have to say.
It's better recently, definitely. Looking at his old ones and his new ones. I played in the Year of the Dragon recently. There's no theme there. Very well. Anyway, so that was my top 30 games so far up. I've just done the first 10 from 30 to 21. If you are intrigued by my games and want to see what's even drier than the 10 that have been on my list so far, tune in next week where I do my 20 to 11. I've been Steve. Thank you very much.